Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. This one's actually kind of neat. It's a 2,000 point battle versus Chaos Dwarves. I was not expecting this. This is an old opponent of mine from way back when, like back in 8th edition. Real good guy, incredibly good player. And he usually has been playing Empire and High Elves, but he threw Chaos Dwarves on the table today, and I was excited because I can't even remember the last time I played Chaos Dwarves. This is a real good game, super combat heavy, so sit back, relax, and get ready to see the carnage. Here's my list, and there has been a little bit of changes. I have 877 points of characters, starting with the High Priest, Idameta Gacy, still at 460. He's my general. He's on the Bone Dragon, level 4 Wizard Illusion, Lore Familiar, Talisman of Protection, and the Flail of Skulls. I like the Flail of Skulls better than the Serpent Staff. It works better for me. Then, of course, Bernice, my other High Priest, is still in the list at 247 points. She's on her steed, level 4 wizard with necromancy. She's got the warding splint and the ruby ring of ruin. I dropped the scarab brooch just because I needed the points, and I think I can make it work with 12. And then, of course, I've got my mortuary priest baby mage at 170 points. He's my level 2 wizard with elementalism. He's my BSB. He's got the banner of desert winds because reserve move is broken, and he's got the amulet of the serpent because without it, there's really no point in taking him. For my core, I've got 672 points now. I've got 30 skeleton archers for 160 points. They've got the hand weapons and war bows as always, but I added a master of arrows and a standard. I had some extra points left over. I added a skeleton. 30's plenty. And with the unit champion upgrade, if they get into combat, it buys me some time. And with the standard, it gives me +1 combat res. Then, of course, I've got the 10 skeleton horse archers for 120 points. They've got light armor warbows. And I've still got the 8 Ushabti for 392 points because while they still have great bows, I did drop the ancient because I just figured the points could be better spent elsewhere. In special, I'm at 316 points total with 2 Tomb Scorpions with the Terrorists Below and Ambushers, as well as 3 Stalkers for 162 points. I wanted to try them more than the Venerable Ushabti. I like the Venerable Ushabti on paper, but in play, they're just too slow. And the Stalkers, I like being able to ambush them. It sucks they don't get Terrors Below, but I wanted to try to gaze, and with Strength 5, AP 1, and the extra attacks from the tail, it just seems like a better unit. Plus, the models are really cool. Of course, I gave them Ambushers. And then in rare choices, I still have my Casket of Souls for 135 points. Here's my opponent's list. He's playing Chaos Dwarves, and he goes by the screen name Flavorous Rex. This is a buddy of mine who I've been playing for years, and he's really good. For characters, he's got 527 points in total. His Sorcerer Prophet at 325 points is his general. He's a level 4 wizard using Demonology. He's got a Dark Forged weapon, a Lore Familiar, the Talisman of Protection, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. Then he's got an Infernal Seneschal, I think that's how you say that, for 115 points. That's his BSB. They've got the Armor of Meteoric Iron and a Dark Forged weapon. Both of his Dark Forged weapons, he got the Magic Res 1 or 2 ability on there. Doesn't really come into effect this game. And then, of course, he's got his Hobgoblin Khan for 87 points with a short bow, light armor, shield, the Hell Shard, and the Biting Blade. He's got 710 points of core that consists of a unit of 35 Hobgoblin Cutthroats for 122 with full command and short bows, 2 units of 10 by Infernal Guard for 150 points each with Fire Glaives, and then he's got a 20-man brick of Infernal Guard at 288 points with full command and the Ashen Banner. He's got 661 points in special that consists of 15 Infernal Ironsworn for 386 points with full command, shields, and Lamasu's Beard, which is probably one of the coolest BSBs I've seen in the game. And then he's got an Iron Demon, which is everything that the Empire wishes the steam tank was. That thing, that's its name. Iron Demon is very accurate. It's got the steam cannonade. In rare, he's got 102 points, which consists of 6 Hobgoblin Wolf Riders. They've got a Musician, Feigned Flight Short Bows, and Cavalry Spears. Here's deployment. As you can see on the left of that hill, I've got Itameta. The idea here was I was going to be able to shoot up his army before it got to me, and then I would send Itameta in to mop up whatever he needed to, and hopefully magic and other shooting would take care of the rest with the scorpions and the stalkers coming in as required. I really didn't think about what was actually about to occur. But yeah, that was the plan, so that's why Itameta is where he's at, because I figured once they got to me with their little movement 3, stubby legs running across the table, I should have my pick of what to send him into to destroy. The archers are on the hill to support that with Baby Mage. The Casket of Souls is right there up front and center. I figured maybe I'll shoot at him. Maybe that'll be fun. The Boshati, they're trying to get shots off at the tank, but targets of opportunity as they come. And then I have my Skeleton Horse Archers as a screen for Bernice to go after his Goblin Wolf Riders, Hobgoblin Wolf Riders. And then once they're dealt with, they could run around the flank and just pelt whoever they need to with magic and shooting. On his side of the table, in the middle, across from Itameta, it starts off with a unit of 10 by Infernal Guard. Then his Iron Demon tank is right there. And then his big brick of, what are they called? Infernal Iron Sworn, which are basically the elite hammerers of this unit. And then next to them is the big brick of 20 Infernal Guard, followed by another unit of 10 Infernal Guard, and then the huge brick of Hobgoblin Cutthroats, and then, of course, his Goblin Wolf Riders. In the Hobgoblin Cutthroats, he's got his Hobgoblin character. In his big brick of 20, he's got his BSB, and in the Infernal, Iron Sworn is where his general is, the Sorcerer Prophet. Here are my spells. Itameta got Glittering Robes, Miasma, Spectral Doppelganger, and Column of Crystal. Bernice got Incantation of Desert Wind, Unquiet Spirits, Spirit Vortex, and Spirit Leech. We got the Spirit Trifecta. And then Baby Mage got Incantation of Cursed Blades and Earthen Ramparts, which I thought was going to be semi-useful this game. My opponent's wizard ended up getting Demonic Familiars, the Summoning, Demonic Vessel, and Steed of Shadows. Here's top of 1 after movement, and my opponent got to go first, and he comes across the table as fast as those stubby little legs will move him. All of his stuff moves up, as you can see, even the Goblin Wolf Riders on the side there. His Iron Demon did his version of marching, which is 5 plus a d6, and the big thing that he did this turn was to get Steed of Shadows off on that unit on the left side of the picture here. That big brick of Iron Guard, whatever they are, Infernal Guard. Yeah, with his BSB, they got Fly 12. He marched 24 inches across the table, basically begging the Boshati to do something. I was like, oh my god. He was too far away for me to try to dispel it, and he rolled like a 13 or something. I did not think to try to even dispel it with my Fated. Not that it would have helped. Holy crap, have I underestimated that friggin' spell. Then in the shooting phase, his general uses the Ruby Ring of Ruin on the Casket of Souls. It's the only thing that's really worth shooting at that's in range, right? Again, I try to stop it. It goes off. I don't remember what he rolled, but I did not stop it, which really pissed me off. But I'm thinking Strength 4, Toughness 6, I should be fine. He gets 2 wounds through after saves, and it's flaming, and he rolls 2 4-ups. Yeah, obliterates my Casket of Soul in round 1 with a Ruby Ring of Ruin. It causes a massive detonation that hits everything except the Dwarves. So I rolled to see who's hit, and Itameta, the archers, the Boshati are hit. Of course the Dwarves are fine. And I do a bunch of hits on the Ushapti and Itameta, but they either make their saves or it doesn't wound them. But I think 2 of the skeleton archers do fall down, and they don't get up. So with that, we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement. And there's been a bunch. As you can see, Itameta moves up to try to put a little pressure on his big brick of Infernal Guard. That Steed of Shadows up. The archers on the hill have to turn to shoot at him. The Boshati back up 2.5 inches, and then they're going to shoot at him. Bernice was able to get Spirit Leech off of them, so their leadership's a bit lower now. The hope is to get them to fall back in good order and go the hell away. Baby Mage was able to get Earthen Ramparts off on his unit just in case it's a trick and he's going to charge them. I got Glittering Robes off on Ida Metagasi. We'll get to that in just a second. And Bernice also got Incantation of Desert Wind off, which is good because I'm going to shoot everything I can at those Infernal Guard and hopefully make them run away. I know they're going to just fall back in good order, but that was the hope. I did bring the Stalkers on the table with Ida Metagasi, and they're going to try to hurt the tank. I angle them to make it look like I'm going after the infantry, but it's the tank that I want. And I bring the Scorpion on over on the right side with Bernice, and that's just to give the Goblin Archers something else to shoot at other than my Horse Archers. That's it for my movement phase. So when Ida Metagasi tried to cast Glittering Robes, my opponent tried to dispel it, and he miscast, which was unexpected to say the least. Chaos Dwarves miscast a little weird. He takes a toughness check, and since he passed it, he miscast as normal, ended up rolling a 5, which is a small template strength 6 AP2. Which is placed as so, which hits him and 2 guys plus 3 partials. The issue here is he gets his Lookout Sir, so he's fine, but his unit's going to take some damage, which results in 2 of his guys dying, which, you know what, for Glittering Robes, I'll take it. In the shooting phase, the Stalkers take shots at the Steam Tank. Only 1 gets through. I do wound twice, believe it or not. But only 1 gets through because he does make his save, and that's the 3 wounds, and I rolled a 6, so 3 wounds on the Iron Demon. I was feeling pretty good about that. In shooting, only the front rank can shoot because I moved, but I'm able to kill 2 of his guys, so I feel pretty good about that. Bernice and her squad are only able to kill 1 more. Ruby Ring of Ruin really flubbed. It did go off, but it flubbed terribly. And the Horse Archers, they did a couple of wounds, but he made all but 1 save. So not ideal, but hey, better than 0. But the Boshati, holy crap. They hit 7 times and wound 6. He makes no saves. 6 more die for a total of 9. Which forced them to fall back in good order. They were still above 50%. The Spirit Leech did help because he would have made it otherwise, so I was happy about that. It is just fall back in good order. I couldn't do enough damage to get him below 50%. I really, really tried, though. That was the master plan. It was luck that he failed his panic check. But you know what? I'll take it. It is what it is. And since it's fall back in good order, they rally automatically and turn to face the archers. It kind of bothers me about the rules. I really wish that if you rallied, you couldn't charge in that next turn. It makes panic less of a game changer, really. It's just like a minor inconvenience. There's a few things like that, but that's just me getting on a soapbox, and this isn't the right time for that. At the end of the shooting phase, I do my reserve moves. My archers on the hill back up a couple inches. The Boshati back up a couple inches. And the Horse Archers, I probably could have left them where they were, but I did back them up just a little bit. That's what the board looks like, though, afterwards. Here's top 2 after movement, and yeah, his Infernal Guard charged my archers. I did stand and shoot, but I couldn't put any wounds on him. I did a few, he just made his saves. It is what it is. His Iron Demon turned to face the Stalkers and shot them. I took the picture a little late. He did 2 wounds to him, so they actually weathered that pretty well. His infantry unit did try to charge them, but failed. I stood and shot and failed right back, so it's a lot of failure there. His Iron Sworn and the other brick, they started moving towards the center of the table. The Cutthroats went towards the Ushapti, and the Wolf Riders went towards the Scorpion, probably just get shots at him. That's pretty much it. Other than the shots that the Iron Demon took at the Stalkers and doing 2 wounds, nothing else happened, nothing else wounded, and in his reserve moves, his Wolf Riders move back behind impassable terrain, so they can't be charged. We go into combat, and my Skeleton Archers do really well. My unit champion dies in a challenge against his BSB, which is totally fine. And in return, after everything is said and done, I make a bunch of saves, and I kill 2 of his guys. I was completely floored by that. It's like he gets 3 wounds, 2 banners in close order. I have 2 wounds, 2 ranks, a banner, and a BSB. I think we end up evening out, and we just kind of stand there. Not how I thought it was going to go, but I'm very, very proud of my Skeleton Archers. And we go to bottom of 2. So the first things that I did was I brought the Skeleton Archers back up to full, just because I figured they're going to need as many wounds as possible. And I made a mistake here, I'll admit it. I probably should have charged the Iron Demon in the flank with my general. I know that now, hindsight's 2020. I'm not saying it would have been a great idea because strength 8 grind hits is what really stopped me, but I was able to get the Mirage off on him, which meant he wasn't going to charge, so I thought, cool, I'll be okay. I should have charged my general in. I'm still too cautious with him, and that's on me 100%. The Stalker's turn to Care Bear stare at the steam tank, knowing full well that his infantry was going to charge in there, and I was hoping they'd be able to deal with that. I did bring in a Tomb Scorpion to use as a battery. Maybe I should have sent it after the what's it called, the Iron Demon, to try to mess it up a little bit. But again, strength 8 grinding, just that just doesn't sound good at all. I mean, at all. The Boshati moved up a little bit to shoot at him. My plan really was to take him down with shooting. Bernice moves back up. She's a little out of position, and that's my fault. I do get Incantation of Desert Wind off, but other than that, in Miasma, nothing else goes off because his caster is just an anti-magic lunatic. And that's really about it. Shooting is actually very lackluster. The Stalkers are the only ones that really produce anything. They're able to get 1 wound through, and when I rolled it, I rolled a 1. So, hey, it's better than nothing, but man, it would have been a lot cool if there were 6 wounds on that thing, right? I do throw up the Column of Crystal. I soaked another wound off of the Scorpion in order to do it. The hope there was to prevent the charge. It was as far as I could put it. I know that they could probably wheel around it. I know that it can be dispelled, but I was hoping. It was better than nothing, you know? And then here, due to my piss poor placement of my Horse Archers and Bernice, the only thing I can really do is put the Vortex out there with -1 leadership. The idea was if they charge or they try to get to my Boshati, they got to take a bunch of dangerous terrain. And plus, once that one is out, it's really hard to dispel. I mean, you dispel it on a 12 up. So that was really it. It was kind of like a deterrent. At the end of shooting, I do my reserve moves, and just Bernice and her crew go up a little bit further to better place and start whittling down the Hobgoblin Horde, because that's a lot of wounds to get through. Other than that, nothing else got reserve moves that can use it because my Skeleton Archers are in combat. Poor bastards. We go into combat, and our unit champions get into a slap fight. Neither of them actually hurt each other, but his BSB and the rest of the unit goes off. I don't do any wounds back, and in the end, after combat res and everything, I lose 7 more Skeleton Archers. Not as good as the first one. I do give ground a couple inches, and I believe he does pursue. This is just an early picture. And that brings us to top of 3 after movement. There's a little bit. The Hobgoblins turn to face the Horse Archers, which is kind of expected, but I'm glad they moved though, because now they can't all shoot at me. His infantry do get into my Stalkers, which was an inevitability. It was a gamble. I was hoping that they were going to put more wounds on the Iron Demon. Wasn't meant to be. They get in there, and well, now I get to see how they do in combat. The other 2 mini bricks, they move forward a little bit more. His sorcerer leaves the unit, and I buy into the bait. I shouldn't have. I should have done something else, but hindsight is 2020. His Iron Demon turns to shoot at the Scorpion, which is smart, and his Goblins just kind of move around. They can kind of pop some shots off at the Horse Archers, and that's really it. In shooting, his Hobgoblin Wolf Riders do exactly that. They shoot at my Horse Archers, and they're able to drop 1. The Cutthroats open up on him and drop 2 more. And then the Iron Demon, I think he ends up volleying like 12 shots into the Tomb Scorpion, and he's able to get another wound through and destroy him. There goes my battery. With his shooting finished, he does his reserve moves, which just shows at the top of the screen the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders shift behind the hill. We go into combat, and I flub so bad. I kill 1 guy, and I think he does 3 wounds to me, killing a guy outright. He wins combat, and I lose another guy. I fall back 2 inches, and he pursues. The archers go crazy. The challenge, nothing happens, but the archers, they get like 6 poison wounds off. Like, he's got full saves, and he makes 4 of them, but they kill 3. I lose this combat by 1 or 2 or something like that. It's not terrible, and yeah, we give ground a little bit, but as you can see, I only lose like 1 more guy. They did really, really well. Here's bottom of 3 after movement, and I decide I'm going to go into his elite unit. I'm thinking, all right, so he'll have 5s, and I didn't realize this at the time, but he has a 6-up ward save because of that beard banner. It's a really good banner, by the way. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go into this unit, and I should be able to do decent amounts of damage. If I can get my Assailant spell off, great. If not, well, Itamedagase is not really for combat anyway. He's a spellcaster, but the dragon, with his attacks needing 4s and 2s, and then stomps needing 2s, should, at a minimum, beat the unit down pretty quick. If I can't crush them completely in 2 turns, because they're stubborn, they're not gonna break right away. But if I can't break them in 2 turns, 3 should do it. I'll get the points, and then I'll turn around and start cleaning up infantry wherever I can. That was the plan. You'll see how that goes in a minute. The Boshati are still going to try to put shots into the Iron Demon because it's a curse. And Bernice gets Spirit Leech off on the Cutthroats, thinking that if I can force the panic check, I can push them back and just keep doing that. Maybe get them to bounce across a bunch of stuff and take a bunch of dangerous terrain checks, lowering their numbers even more, maybe even making it so that next time they're completely out of the game. I don't know. I'm hoping. They don't have an armor save, so all I have to do is put wounds on them. You'll see how that goes. That's it for movement. In the shooting phase, I'm not able to do enough to force the panic check. Between Bernice's shots and the horse archers, I just couldn't wound. I do kill like 7 of them, so that's pretty good, but I was expecting closer to 10. I know, but I am a little disappointed. We go into combat, and Itamedagase does pretty well. I don't get my Assailant spell off, but with stomps and everything like that, I do considerable amount of wounds and all that. He doesn't do anything back to me. I end up winning combat, but he uses shield wall and just gives ground 2 inches. I pursue, and we end up right here. Combat over here, I had a choice to make at the beginning of the turn with Itamedagase. Heal the archers or heal the stalkers. I chose the archers because they're just worth more, and I figured they had a better chance of winning. And so when we get to this combat, the last one gets destroyed. That's exactly what was supposed to happen, I guess. In this combat right here, we actually kill, I think, 2 or 3 more of the dwarves. He kills a whole bunch of skeletons. I lose combat. I fall back 2 inches. And he decides to restrain because he wants to charge and go first, which makes sense. That brings us over here to top of 4. This is the picture of it after movement. His Infernal Guard in the center of the table, they spread out so they can get all their shots off. The Infernal Guard in the woods fail their charge into Itamedagase's flank. His Sorcerer Lord General person runs over to the side, so if I do win this combat, he's not able to overrun into him, which is smart. His steam tank can't charge into the archers thanks to miasma, so he moves up to shoot at them. The unit on the hill tried to charge the archers, but failed their fear check, which was unexpected. I'm a little excited about this. I'm going to stand. I'm going to shoot at them all with whatever's left, hopefully killing enough that they don't matter anymore. And his cutthroats stood still so that they could shoot everything that they have into the Tomb Scorpion. My Boshati shot last turn, I forgot to mention this, hit twice, wounded 0. They're just not on their A game this game, which is kind of sad. I really needed them. In the shooting phase, the Iron Demon shoots at the archers and kills like 6 of them. I didn't make any of my regens. Nothing else happens in shooting, so we go into combat, and I'm able to kill 2 more of the dwarves. They put a wound on me. I believe they win this combat, and I give ground 2 inches. Nothing else going on here. Here's bottom of 4, and I'm starting to get a little desperate. I'm starting to feel like things are getting away from me. My archers don't move. I am able to heal 5 of them back up. So the unit champion's back, and I've got 4 more guys included. So that's good. 5 more wounds in the unit is going to be needed. The Boshati move up to try to get shots at the tank. Only 7 are going to be able to see due to the situation, but it is what it is. The archers move around, the horse archers move around to keep shooting at the cutthroats. Bernice kind of breaks away because she realizes she needs to get into this fight. It hasn't been going the way I needed to go. I thought about charging with the Scorpion, but with his character in there and all the attacks, I just didn't see it as a good use of his points. And yeah, that's really it for my movement. I'm not doing great. In the shooting phase, I know it doesn't show it, but I did shoot everything I had at these dwarves, and I was only able to kill 2 more. They passed their panic check, but it's like, damn it! Over here, Bernice uses her Ruby Ring of Ruin, Unquiet Spirits, and the archers all shoot at the cutthroats, and I'm only able to kill 6 of them. I had Spirit Leech off. They were in range of the friggin' Vortex. They were at -3 leadership. I'm like, force that panic. Fall back in good order so I can keep pursuing. Nope. Couldn't do it. Couldn't force the panic. Just sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. We go into combat, and Itametigasi does okay. He kills 3 more dwarves, so it's like 3 wounds. I think he took 1 for his trouble. They have a banner in close order. I have a close order. I think I win this combat, but they pass their check and just give ground, of which I just pursue. Turns are going quick now. Here's top of 5 after movement, and his Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives march up to right in front of the Boshati. They want a piece of that, apparently. The Iron Demon goes into the archers along with the other dwarves, the 2 remaining Infernal Guard and their BSB. They pass their fear check this time. Dang it. The other Infernal Guard charge into the flank of Itametigasi, which I'm actually okay with because their armor save is a lot lower than the Iron Sworn that he's been dealing with. So I'm thinking that if anything, that's going to help me. The Cutthroats stay still to shoot at the Tomb Scorpion, and as you can see, I took the picture a little late. They were able to put 2 wounds on him. That's it for movement. Other than putting a couple of wounds on the Tomb Scorpion, nothing happens in shooting other than that. We go into combat, and Itametigasi flubs really, really bad. I can't get my assailant off. His caster is just preventing it constantly. And yeah, I'm able to do 2 wounds. I take another wound. I stop some with regen. I don't remember exactly what the combat res was, but I take another wound and I give ground, and both units follow up, which is the right thing to do. And I forgot to get a picture of it, but the Iron Demon and the Dwarves end up taking my skeleton unit down to 7 skeletons and a 1 wound left Mortuary Priest. Baby Mage got popped in the face. They give ground and everything and both pursue. This is really bad. That takes us in the bottom of 5 after movement, and yeah, you can see the skeleton archers are wasting away. I don't think they've got another turn in them. Itametigasi is in combat, so he doesn't go anywhere. Bernice runs out into the middle of stuff, figuring, hey, it's time to make something happen. We've got to get points. I realize I'm doing enough to hurt everything, but not enough to kill anything and secure those points. Plus, I want Bernice in range to block any spells that his caster tries to cast next turn. I'd opt not to charge with the Tomb Scorpion because I want to shoot at the Cutthroats again, because why not? The Boshati back up 2.5 inches to take a pot shot at the Infernal Guard because I figured that's my best bet. And that's really it for my movement. I was able to get Glittering Robes off on Itametigasi, which is huge, and Incantation of Desert Wind on Bernice, which is also huge. In the shooting phase, the Boshati fire, hit 3 times, wound once, and it kills a single guy. Poor guys, their hearts just aren't in this fight. They fired at the Iron Demon last turn, too. I forgot all about that. And 3 hits, no wounds. It's just, come on, guys. You need to do better. Forget about the Warpfire Dragon. Think about the now! Luckily for me, Bernice still harbors a lot of hate towards dwarves and is able to do, I think, 5 more wounds to him, taking the unit from 10 down to 4. And then my skeleton horse archers, they're just trying to make it, and they kill 2 more cutthroats, which isn't bad for them. We go into combat, and he honestly kind of flubs here a little bit. Not that it mattered. I mean, flubbing is relative when you've only got 7 archers left. But he does kill the entire unit. I don't take any damage onto my Mortuary Priest, luckily. But, yeah, the unit's vaped, and the Iron Demon is able to go wherever it wants. And the Mortuary Priest is stuck in a challenge with the BSB. So I think the writing's on the wall there. Itametigasi, or better, Badonkadonk, finally gets angry and kills all 7 of the little bastards in the flank there. He does take another couple of wounds for his trouble. He's up to 6 now, but yeah, I win this combat. I restrained here because the Ironsworn actually fell back in good order, and I forgot that they're dwarves. It was like 1:15 in the morning. Leave me alone. But I forgot that the dwarves take a -1 to when they flee, and I'm thinking they're fleeing, so it's 2d6. No, he rolled snake eyes to run away, so he just backed away an inch, and that's where they ended up. So not worth it at all. It was a very stupid idea on my part. We go in the top of 6, and my opponent decides not to charge back into Itametigasi with his Ironsworn, which makes sense. His cutthroat stay still to shoot at the scorpion, and my opponent decides he's going to try to shoot Itamedagacy off the table, which is actually pretty smart. So the wolf riders move up, the iron demon stay still because he's in range, and the iron sworn by the Boshati, they turn their back on the Boshati. They are 5.1 inches away. The Boshati move 5 inches. They can't flee that far. The audacity! But that's it for his movement. Bernice is able to stop his caster from doing anything but the cutthroat shoot at the Tomb Scorpion and kill him. Which, I mean, yeah, it was really poorly used on my part. The Iron Demon shoots like 18 shots, 16, 18 shots at Itamedagacy, but luckily only one got through. So he's sitting at 7 wounds. I know the picture's terrible. I apologize. Like I said, it was like 1 in the morning. Leave me alone. But it's a cool picture of the tank, so that counts for something. We go into combat, and his BSB smashes my Mortuary Priest into the ground. Poor baby mage. I'm going to have to resurrect him after this. So, here's bottom of 6. I am able to heal a couple of wounds off of Itamedagacy. I do try. He casts it himself and gets it off. Bernice tries and fails her leadership. That's fine. He gets 2 wounds because he was within her command range. She was in his command range. So he's down to 5 wounds, which is really, really good. And I charge. The Boshati, offended by the Infernal Guard that turned their back on him, charging at a rear there. And then Itamedagacy goes back into the Ironsworn, figuring, why not? I need points. The Horse Archers move up to shoot at the Cutthroats because they don't really have any other choice. And Bernice moves up because I'm dumb. I should have sent her after the Infernal Guard with the BSB down there towards the bottom with Unquiet Spirits and everything like that, but I screwed up. I did. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I went after his caster instead because, I don't know, I had delusions of grandeur. And, well, you're going to see how that works out. It doesn't work out at all. None of my shooting or magic does anything. I even get some stuff off, and it doesn't hurt anything. So we go into combat, and the Boshati are able to kill 2 of these guys. In return, they took 2 wounds. I hit 11 times, and I wounded 3. He saved 1, and 2 guys died. That's how terrible I started rolling. It is what it is. I guess it all kind of evened out because I was really, really high and then really, really low, but whatever. I win this combat due to being close order and a rear charge. They break. Not fall back in good order. They fled not very far, I think like 3 inches, and the Boshati ran them down. So there we go. Points secured. Itamedagacy and Badonkadunk go after the remaining Ironsworn, and we kill 3. Just could not get the wounds through. He made some great saves, and I just wasn't rolling well to wound. Yes, I'm going to make excuses. Leave me alone. I win combat by like 3 or 4, but he makes his check, and he just falls back, he gave ground 2 inches. I didn't even bother following up. And there it is. There's the end of the game. So it wasn't a total loss, but in the end, my opponent ended up taking 831 points out of me, and I only got 469 out of him. So it was definitely a defeat for Lord Tremendous, which is sad. But it was a really, really good game, and I have no complaints. I played poorly, I admit that, but it was still a good game. I should have concentrated my damage. I should have done more. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Hindsight being 2020 and all. But still, really good game. Really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to getting to the recap. Man, what a game. I just couldn't get my wounds through. Not enough to really make it matter, you know? I mean, between bad to wound rolls and him making his saves, I couldn't get enough to finish off the unit. I got super close with most of them. I needed to focus fire better. Chaos Dwarves are so much fun to fight against. I don't know if I could play them, but playing against them is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this game. I didn't feel outclassed at any point, but I also didn't feel like I had an advantage. It felt very fair. I don't know. I mean, this is my first time in the old world playing Chaos Dwarves, and it's not like everybody's playing them, so I hope I get to play against them again, but this felt like on the razor's edge the entire time. Just a slugfest. Like, his Steed of Shadows, using it to throw that unit right into me right off the bat, that was awesome. I mean, really, really fun, and it was cool seeing that much close combat in a game where I usually don't see it like that anyway. My skeleton archers were amazing. The fact that they almost finished off that unit, their poison attacks, I was so proud of them. In the end, I honestly believe the only reason they lost is because of that Iron Demon, and I don't blame them for that. I blame the Ushabti. They didn't have their heads in the game today. My buddy, he saw the game, he knows what's going on. He says it's because they're still traumatized by the Warp Flame Dragon from my previous game. He may have a point. He may have a point. Itametigasi needs to roll better. He needs to get his damn assailant spells off. Maybe I'll throw a power scroll on him because I'm running into more and more level 4 casters that just have the ability to shut him down, and having a power scroll might be what I need in order to make it work when I really, really need it to. I like the Stalkers. They did really good. They put 4 wounds. They put the only wounds on the Iron Demon the entire game because, again, Ushabti, I was hitting, like, out of 8 shots, I was hitting 2 or 3 times and then failing to wound completely. I know I needed 5s to wound, but damn it! But no, the Stalkers are really cool, and I'm glad I got them in the list now. And honestly, who blows up a Casket of Souls with the Ruby Ring? I was not expecting that. 3 wounds, and then I failed 2 of the saves, and then he rolls 2 4s. Oh my god! I think, honestly, the Casket of Souls, had I got Light of Protection off, might have made the difference in my fight against the Dwarves and my Skeleton Archers. But I guess we'll never know. Oh man, the Tithe of Bones is a little sparse this week. I didn't kill any of his characters. I did get 38 of his Infernal Guard. That's a pretty decent offering. I got 12 of those Hobgoblin Cutthroats, which felt really good. And 13 of his Infernal Ironsworn. 2 away from catching the unit. Oh, eats at my soul. And then, of course, I got nothing from his rare, so I didn't do great this game, but it was still a solid fight, and I hope the king will forgive me for these transgressions. And, of course, I've got the active record from the Demons and Warriors of Chaos, with my bounty of Wood Elves and Tomb King enemies defeated for King Bubba Hotep as well. And that's it. Another battle report in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. And as always, thanks.